There we go. So hello everyone and welcome to our very first edition of our CAWEB. Technically the second, but the first in English. We had our first one in French last Thursday, which was quite a success. So we are very happy to see you here today to talk to you about our master's program. So just quickly before we start, if there's any issues, if you can't hear us well, or if you can't see anything that we're trying to show you, feel free to let us know so that we can take care of that as quickly as possible. So without any further ado, let's start off with a quick round table of our speakers. Let's just go through every one of us, give a quick introduction, and we'll begin with Madame de la Paix.
Thank you very much, Liam. Welcome to this webinar. My name is Renate de la Paix. I have a German accent. I am German, and this is also a webinar in English, but addressing students who might be interested in choosing German as a second language. If not, no problem, no problem with me. So I have been the program director for this program for a couple of years now. It started in 2002, and I have been in charge of it since that date. So this is a little bit my baby, and it's not a new master's. We have developed quite well. So it's a huge program right now, and I will be happy to introduce you to the program in a couple of minutes.
Thank you very much. Caroline?
Hi, everyone. So my name is Caroline. I'm a student of the Master CAWEB. Before studying at the CAWEB Master, I was studying languages, mostly Japanese. And so I'm here to talk about what we are studying in this program, and I'm here to answer your questions.
Hey, thank you very much. Next I'll present myself quickly. I'm Liam Bell. I'm a French-British student who grew up part of my life in Germany before moving to France, where I pursued a bachelor's degree in applied languages before joining the CAWEB Master's degree. Yeah, so that's pretty much all there is to say about me, really. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you have as well about what life is as a CAWEB student, and anything else you might want to know. Also joining us today are two of our teachers who you'll get the chance to meet and talk with during our round table. We have Mr. Mark Nightingale, our English and back-end development teacher. And I believe we also have Miss Caroline Fitzel in the room, who teaches us about social media. So let me talk to you about what we're going to be doing today, what we're going to be talking about. So as we sent in our emails and on our LinkedIn page, we are going to be presenting the master. So we're going to give you a few figures, tell you what we do, and so on and so forth. Then we'll have, let's say, a 10-15 minute round table with you and the different speakers so that you may ask any questions you may have and that we may answer you. And at the end, we'll have a quick quiz with a few bonus tips to give you, just to see if you have the qualities or the drive to be a CAWEB student. And at the end, of course, we'll give you a few details and a summary of everything that you need to know. So let's start off with a quick presentation of the master's program, and who better to do that than the person who first launched it. So Madame de la Paix, I'll leave the floor to you.
Yes, so CAWEB means multilingual web communication, and actually it's a very career-oriented master's introducing you to digital marketing, to social media, to search engine optimization. Of course, languages are still important, are one of our core subjects. We introduce you to visual communication, and last but not least, also to web development. So that means that you have courses in project management, marketing and digital communication, in web design, in user experience and user interface graphics, in the creation of websites, which means also developing websites, and of course applied foreign languages, always applied to web communication and to localization, which means translation of digital content, mainly websites and software and video games. So for now, I think, yeah, that's all I would like to say. We go into more details of the program a bit later on.
Okay, so the CAWEB Master was created in 2002, and it was named Languages and Web Technologies. So some numbers for the first year of the master. So you will be 30 to 35 students per in the class studying, and in the second year, you will be 20 students, and you have also the possibility to learn the master in a distance way, and it's approximately 35 students in a class. So we have different fields where the CAWEB Master students are going to work right after their studies. So that will be in the web field with like 17%, and mostly web development, project management, e-marketing, translation, and communication. But we learn everything in the class, so we're not specialized in one field, but we learn different fields. So we have a really great web culture, and that's why we are able to work in different fields in the same job. So the languages studied in the master, you have the most people who learn German with almost 35%. After you have the Spanish-speaking person, so that will be like a 28%. Well, I don't know if it's just me, but
I think Liam dropped off.
oh.
Do you have the presentation, Caroline?
Yeah,
No,
that was my bad.
well,
I'm back. Don't you worry.
I had
you're back. Okay.
I've
okay.
got everything covered.
Nice. Well,
Sorry
I can.
about that.
No, it's fine. I can talk to you about like the languages we learn. So we learn well, English or French. It depends on if you are a French student or a foreign student. And then we have what we call a B language. So that will be like Japanese, Spanish, and German. And so for the foreign students, that will be well, English and French.
Okay, thanks a bunch, Caroline. As for me, I'm going to be giving you a few key, let's say, points about studying as a German speaker from Germany, or actually from wherever you might be. Though we do have quite a number of students from Germany who are interested, which is why we decided to go with this approach. So as the master's is situated in Strasbourg, right across the border from Germany, German profiles are quite highly sought out amongst different companies around here. For example, if you're doing an apprenticeship, work experience, or whatever. And so you can quite easily find an apprenticeship here in Strasbourg. This is also made quite easy with the different partnerships that we have. So for example, as shown here, we have partnerships with Schmidt, with Zooplus, with Arte and Hakisa. I myself am currently working at Dallin Software, which is a software company based in Kiel, which is just across the border, literally a 15-minute tram drive. So although they are a French company, knowing German is quite a plus when working there. So it can be quite interesting. Now, in the masters as well, we can also improve our French skills with French as a foreign language, a class called FLE in French, and quite all over German and digital skills combined together are quite a highly sought out combination amongst companies. Now, of course, I say this, but this does apply if you're coming from anywhere. I saw people who were coming from Ireland, from Japan, from America as well. If you, this applies to everyone really. So Madame de la Paix will be giving you a bit more details as to what we are going to study in the course.
Yes, so I give you an overview of the first year of our master's program. We still have a strong focus on languages. So my colleagues and students already introduced you to the languages we do. English is compulsory, is mandatory, and then you have to choose a second language. We also have classes in visual communication, which means user experience, UX, ergonomy, DTP, and video. So also, film, taking a video and cutting it afterwards. Then we have quite technical classes in web development. Though this is something I would say that makes our master's program stand out. It's quite technical in visual communication, but also quite technical in web development. So it's really about how websites are built today. Basic classes is in HTML, CSS, PHP, JavaScript, web content management with WordPress, for example, but not only, and also some insights about all the regulations in the multimedia field, especially on web page authoring rights and so on. And then there is digital marketing. I would say that at the moment, a lot of our students or graduates work in this field. They are managing social media. They are optimizing websites for SEO. They think about a strategy and tools in digital marketing. I think that at the moment this is perhaps our focus. And all in all, it's a very multidisciplinary education, so very broad, but quite deep in every subject. In the second year, it's quite similar. The only difference is that we dig deeper into every subject. So for a lot of students, the first year program is new to them because they have never experienced or worked in web development, for example. But then in the second year, they are a bit more familiar, and we try to do our best that our students get some quite technical skills. What makes our master program stand out is actually also that it is really career-focused, career-oriented, already because a lot of professionals are teaching. A lot of our instructors come from outside, so are not university teachers. They are professionals, and they can really teach what is really used in this field, what is really the practical side actually of all of our classes. And then the second very important point is that from the first year onwards, the students have to work on projects. The most important project during the first year is the creation or the redesign of a multilingual website for a client. So it's not a dummy project, it is a real world project. So our students during the first semester have to look for a client and then write the specifications, and then during the second semester build the website, including the writing for it, the content and the translation of the content, optimizing it, and perhaps manage social media if this is part of the project. So it's very comprehensive, very very broad, and you can put everything you know into practice immediately. So it's a very hands-on masters, during the first year already, and then during the second year as well, because our students have to manage our website, our CAWEB website. For example, what you see on the web, the CAWEB website was built by the students, so designed and developed by the students, and is now managed only by the students, and all the social media as well. So everything you see was written, designed by the students. I was quite impressed what they can do already during the second year. After the first year, the students have the choice between two tracks, two options, either the on-campus option, which means that they study in Strasbourg and they work as an apprentice. In German, it would be duales Studium. They work as an apprentice in a company in Strasbourg or somewhere close by. Can be Kiel, can be Germany, but only the border with France. So they can do an apprenticeship, which means that they are paid quite well. Actually, you can live on that in France. They get paid for that. They pay no fees at all, and they work during the semester. Actually, they work half time in a company and half time at university on campus. So 2 days on campus actually, and 1 day of distance learning. This is on Wednesdays. On Wednesday afternoon, actually, they are at home and they connect to distance learning classes because in the morning, actually, they work in their companies, so they have to come home, of course, get home, and then they connect to their computer. The focus is, I already mentioned it, still on languages, web technologies, project management. Everything that you were introduced to during the first year is still there during the second year. It's just more intense. The classes take place in a computing room, so there's an IT room just for our master students. The second possibility is to do the distance learning track, the distance learning option, which is taught in English. I think it's very difficult to find a master's program in English that where you don't have to pay for if you at least if you are an apprentice. So actually a lot of our students, let's say 20 students out of the first year program, for 15-20 students, they actually do their apprenticeship somewhere else in France, in the south of France, in Paris, or wherever they can find an interesting apprenticeship position, and they do the masters, then the program by distance. We started this in 2008, so we have quite a lot of experience in distance learning, not only due to Corona, so we already had this distance learning track before. So part of our students, they do the apprenticeship somewhere else in France. Others, let's say 20%, they go abroad or join us from abroad. And then, the students have to pay for the program. There are fees, but it gives you the opportunity actually to spend the second year abroad. We had in the past students in the United States working there, or getting a very well-paid intern position, or going to Australia, or back to their home country, which might be Japan or China, or Russia as well. And it's also possible, of course, to move to Germany, or to go back to Germany and to work actually, and to do the master's program at the same time, either in 1 year or in 2 years. Check out on our webpage. It's quite complex actually, because we have so many options. So after the first year, which is only provided in Strasbourg, after the first year you can decide on campus, or distance learning. And then distance learning, it might be in France with an apprenticeship contract, it might be in France with a working contract, or it might be an internship contract or a working contract outside of France, which then means that you have to pay for this option. But our website gives you more details about that, and I'm happy to answer all your questions after this presentation. There are a lot of job opportunities all over France, all over the world, and gives you the distance learning track, gives you more flexibility actually in organizing your work. There are some details, I think, as well for this one. On the next slide. No, there are no. So for the distance learning option, actually, for apprentices, you also work half time in a company and half time you connect to the distance learning program, which takes place three times a week. So it's all on Wednesday the whole day, or afternoon, evening, and Thursday and Friday in the evening you have classes, you connect to classes. It is like today on BBB and on Moodle, so you have a third of synchronous teaching, so live sessions where you should connect, and 3/3 of the teaching is remote teaching, so you find all the material on the Moodle platform. But I'm happy to answer all your questions about that.
Okay, thank you very much, Andrea. I'm just going to give you a few final details that are quite interesting about the masters. As Mr. Lepe just mentioned before, the first thing that I find incredibly interesting is that the master's website and all the communication we have to do on social media, per email, and all that is completely managed by us, the students. And we take care of the CAWEB Master's website if we're doing the on-campus program, and we also take care of the TC Lock Master's program, which is a technical localization master's degree, if I'm not misnaming it. And the distance learning students take care of that website. Of course, we have a large network with different alumni, and we also have, since this year, an association, or an organization, I should say, of students. So there is an active network of people you can connect with and talk with if you need to. I know that people are very willing to help and to discuss things if you need to. And even amongst the, let's say, the current students that are still in the masters, we have a sponsorship program where first-year students are partnered with a second-year student to help them navigate the life of a CAWEB student, give them tips and tricks and anything that might need to succeed during their first year. What else do we have? We have relevant career opportunities. So as Mr. Lefe said, we are very multidisciplinary. which means that we have a lot of options to choose from when looking for a career after the masters, or even during if you're looking for an apprenticeship. And personal work and personal initiatives are quite highly recognized in the master. So it's good to have ideas, to be a bit daring, to try and innovate if you can. And you really have a sense of being able to do something and bring something of yourself to the table. So that's, I think, some of the main points and the best points of the masters for me. And I think Caroline would agree with me on that as a student. And yeah, sorry.
No, nothing. Go on.
Okay, great. Yeah, and I think that's what I have to say really about that. Yeah. So let's move on to the application process, which Madame Delepe will surely know a lot more about than I do, and will be able to explain it quite clearly for you.
Yeah, thank you. So I just asked Diana in the chat what's her profile, because you can join us, of course, in the first year of our masters. But if you have already a German bachelor's, which is generally 3.5 bachelor, and if you have already some professional experience, you could join us directly in the second year. So if you want to join us for the first year, this is what we show you on the slide. You have to apply via on our platform. So just go to our website. You will see a link to eCandidat, which is a French, or the university platform to deal with the applications. The applications are open from, let's say, mid-April to mid-May. And you will, first there will be, we will go through your papers, and then pre-select a couple of students. Let's say 2/3 will have an interview with us. So we are a couple of teachers doing the interviews. So you will really get 10 to 30-minute interview, motivational interview. You will probably be asked to write a blog post. So let's say every student should have something that makes him stand out. It can be that he or she is a good, has excellent editing skills, writing skills, or graphical skills, and you should stand out with something. We don't expect you to have already basic skills in web development. If you have, it's fine. You should mention that. You should send us a link to what you have already done, of course, but you can also stand out by your writing skills, for example, and we will test them actually. So you have to write a blog article, and we will go through these articles. And if you are, if you don't have, haven't studied actually the language you are applying for. So, for example, for German, you specialized in English somewhere, and you don't have a degree in German language. So we will just test you actually. We don't ask you for any papers that you have to pay for, like TOEFL or like Goethe certificate or something like that. So if we are not sure about your level in the second or first language, so you will just do a test. It's quite selective, so that's why I mentioned you should stand out by something. It can be experience as well. You should show us that you have done some internships, or you have worked somewhere. You were active in a student association. There should be something actually. Links to your LinkedIn profile, of course, to your posts. If you say, "Oh, I am passionate about social media," of course, you should be able to prove it. So if you say that that you are passionate about web development or digital marketing, there should be a proof for that. So clear motivation. And well, of course, we have a look on your records, but you can compensate quite easily some not so good results at university by something else, by experience, by motivation. Extra academic activities are highly valued. Our students are very active. You see the webinar today was completely organized by the students. Liam also mentioned that we have a student association that's quite active, organizing roundtables and a lot of things going on. So if you have already experience in these kind of activities, that's it's a good point that you should mention. So this is for the first year. For the second year, you apply directly through our website. So if you want to join us directly on the website, is if one has significant professional experience. Julia is asking, is a bachelor's degree still necessary? Yes, no, it depends really. Just send us your CV, and then I will have a close look at it. If you don't even have a bachelor's to enter the master, then you have to go through a process actually, and your professional experience really has to be significant and in the field and in one of the field of our masters. So it's not just professional experience, it is a professional experience in one of our masters, in one of our fields that we deal with. We have that every year, and you can then either enter the first year or the second year. So we will. Okay. We can discuss this. Yeah, please send all your papers, and you will get an answer for it directly. That's all from my side about application, the application process.
Yep. All right. Thank you very much, Repe. So now we're going to go off onto a round table, although we did already start going into some questions that were being asked. So yeah, feel free to ask any questions to any one of us that you'd like. We'll do our best to answer them. And we also have, as I said, Mr. Mike Nightingale, our English and backend development teacher, here with us, and Ms. Caroline Fitzel, social media teacher in year 1. So if you have any questions that might be specific to their topics, feel free to ask those questions as well. And as I said, you're also free to pick up the mic as well if you have it on. We'd love to hear you. Okay, the first raised hand goes to Julia, I think, if I'm not butchering your name.
Hi, my name is Julia.
Julia, sorry.
No problem. Hi. I have a question about the DTP. What programs are we learning there exactly?
The what? Sorry, the DTP?
Yeah, the desktop tool publishing.
Yes, that's everything's going to be around visual communication, let's say. So, for example, we're going to be using how to learn Adobe tools such as Illustrator, InDesign, and Photoshop. And we also learn about Affinity, which is a different solution to Adobe in our second year.
Okay, thank you.
Perhaps Caroline Fitzel may introduce herself a little bit, because she is a former CAWEB student and now doing a couple of classes with us. And she is German. We can see the mic activated, but we can't hear you actually, Caroline. Oh, what a pity. Yeah, we can see that the mic is... No, we can't hear you. By the way, Mark was also is also one of our former students. Perhaps you can talk a little bit about your personal career.
Yeah, sure. So I was originally a CAWEB student 5 years ago now, 6 years ago, maybe, I can't remember. I had done a languages bachelor in the UK. In French and Italian. I had done a couple of years of work in France as a teacher of English, and then I did the CAWEB program as a way to use my languages skills in the sort of digital field, something I'd always been interested in myself as a kind of like personal project, but never really done professionally. I did the on-campus program. So I did the first year on campus and the second year with an apprenticeship. I worked in a local web agency in Strasbourg for a year as a junior project manager alongside my CAWEB program. And then at the end of the program, I launched my little freelance company building websites for small and medium-sized businesses around France, Germany, Italy, some companies in the US as well. So I'm now teaching in the master's program. I teach a combination of a few different things. I teach some English, particularly with an a heavy accent on the web side of it. So writing for the web, we look at how to optimize our texts, particularly for the web in English and so on. A little bit of SEO in there as well. I also teach, as Liam said, back-end development. And in the distance learning program, I also teach front-end development. So back-end development, we're looking at PHP, and front-end development, we're looking at HTML, JavaScript, CSS. So sort of like a whole well-rounded set of skills to be able to pick up a website and add things, change things, or to build something from scratch. I also follow the students in their master's projects that they do, both in the first year and the second year, and in the distance learning program, and provide support, guidance, and so on as they do that project. But as they've said to you, they organize this webinar themselves. The initiative came from them for this idea. They run the website themselves. They run a lot of the communications for the masters themselves. So it's really an excellent, the program is really excellent at giving you hands-on experience and enabling you to sort of grow and make it what you want, right, with these really concrete professional skills. I saw that Yulia has a question, Yulia has a question, different spelling, about is it possible to complete the master's program in 1 year and completely remote? The answer to that is whether or not you will have, so you could do that if you enter into the second year and do the remote option, which it can be fully remote, but that can only be if you have a bachelor's plus a little bit of enough work experience that you can skip the first year into the second year. Renata may be able to give you more details, but it will depend on your personal CV as to whether or not you have a bachelor's plus a year or two of experience.
Yeah, really, I encourage you to send me your papers, your CV, and then we will discuss it. As you could see, we have more spots in the second year than in the first year. So we have at least 25 students joining us directly in the second year, mainly people from abroad, and mainly professionals as well, or yeah. They have sometimes already a master's degree or they have professional experience, and they join us directly during the second year, because only the second year is provided distance learning. So for the first year, you have to come on campus, and this mainly for young students. But yeah, Caroline Fitzel is yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Ah, okay, great. That was a huge struggle. So, just to answer your question, Julia, I have been in your case a few years ago. So I've done Master CAWEB in 2015 and had done a normal bachelor in marketing and with focus on languages, in fact. And then I began to work. I think I'd had 2 years of experience and directly went into the M2 and did it remotely because I did not want to quit my job, because I had a good job that I did not want to simply quit to do studies and then to search again for a new job. And so I did it in the evening. And of course, it was a year full of sacrifice. That's something that you have to know. But it was a great year at the end, because I had the diploma at the end, and I was quite happy. And it helped me also to get the next job and to gain much more experience in the fields that I did not know at all. So it was a really great experience.
Thank you so much, Caroline, for sharing this. I will perhaps go back to a question earlier tonight about the language courses. If somebody is already fluent in English, like Mark was, and like Liam was or is, English is mandatory, but it is not about English classes. It is classes in English. So when Mark now is teaching, for example, writing for the web, it's not an English class. I would say it's a content class, and his course about managing a multilingual website is a class in English and not a class to learn English. Of course, you will naturally improve your English, and there is always something to improve and to get more vocabulary. But if you really are a professional and your language, so you won't learn English in during your first year. You have to have a level B2, let's say, or even C1 to join the master's program, and so you don't learn English in our masters. We are addressing language graduates, so they should be really fluent in the two languages they use during their studies.
I would just add to that, as someone who had to go through 3 years of applied languages bachelors, where you had to learn English grammatic and having speaking courses, which, to be honest, weren't the most exciting times of my life. In the masters here, it is really about learning specific skills in those languages. Like, for example, there is going to be technical writing, but we'll be learning how to write, let's say, product descriptions or product manuals, for example. We'll be learning translation as well in those classes and developing specific vocabulary to certain domains that are important for the different, let's say, disciplines that we are working in, and so on. So yeah, it's not something to be, let's say, scared about. If you're thinking it's going to be learning how to speak English properly, it's more of developing more what you know if you're not an English speaker, and perhaps learning some things that you didn't know if you are an English speaker.
It would be interesting actually to know a little bit more about you. Are there any German native speakers online tonight? Can we help you? Or where do you come from? Where do you live? Is there anybody wanting to give us more details actually about his profile, and want to know if it is a good fit or not?
Can I just answer the question from Mary in the chat? If you were to do the masters in 2 years, which is what the M1 and M2. The M1 is not provided off campus. It's only provided in Strasbourg. And so there's no e-learning option for that. So if you want to do the masters as like a fully e-learning experience, then that means you're doing the 1 second year as an e-learning in the distance learning option. And for that, you would need the bachelor's plus, as I said, a bit of experience, and it'll be a case-by-case decision as to whether or not you're admitted with the experience you have and if it is in a relevant field and so on. We do have students who do that, right? It's not like a crazy option that is, unheard of. Like, it's fairly common that we have students who enter directly into the second year directly for the e-learning program because they want that program. But we don't offer the first year e-learning, so it would mean you need to apply directly into the second year, and it's a little bit more in terms of let's say in terms of the content, there's a little bit more to catch up on, right? Because there are some things you won't have done in the first year.
Yeah. We will actually, if you apply for the second year directly and we see that you're not familiar with the basic knowledge in web development and visual communication, for example, we will send you quite a long list of websites like Open Classroom, like things like that, where you can train yourself during the summer. And you can also join already the team taking care of our website during the summer. You can learn like this. So there is a lot that you can do actually to get ready for the second year.
So I would say it's feasible. For example, I did not had any knowledge at all in web development. I was rather coming from the web marketing field and neither from graphics, and I managed to do it. So as I said, it was a year full of sacrifice, but if you stick to it and if you're really willing to it, it's definitely feasible. Maybe something else I would like to add. There is, as I think it's Renate who said it, no need for having great records in bachelor, but you definitely need to have big motivation and being really curious about what is going on the web, what are the news, and not only sticking what the teacher is saying, but looking a little bit out of the box and thinking about new ideas, what you could do, etc. And that's also what is really interesting, to work also together in groups, to do brainstorming, etc. So the main success, the main trigger for success will be your own motivation and stick to the studies.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing this. Yeah.
All right. Well, here's a quick takeaway, which quickly summarizes the different study paths that you can follow in the CAWEB Masters. Now, of course, as I said at the beginning, this webinar has been recorded and will be sent to you in an email, along with the different brochures for our master's degree, along with documents and useful information about CAWEB. And you should receive that normally, I'd say the week's tops or something like that, if I'm not being overly ambitious. I think we should be able to manage that. And if you'd like, you can take a screenshot of this now to keep it for later. If not, here is a list of the different contacts for the CAWEB Masters. You have Ms. Clementine Kleinhens, which is our on-campus program director. You also have Valérie Liderman, who is our distance learning program coordinator. And of course, you have Madame de la Paix, who is our program director here. We've also given you the URL for our website, which I think we should be able to repaste here in the chat for you. There we go. And of course, you can also follow us on different social media platforms, such as Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, where we are most active. So just look up Master CAWEB, and you should be able to find us, of course. All this information you'll be able to find in our email that we'll send to you after this. And yeah, on that note, I think that would conclude our webinar today. So thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you very much to Caroline, Mr. Nightingale, Madame de la Paix, and Ms. Fitzel for being here and for participating. And I hope we can see everybody next year as new CAWEB students.
Hope so too. Thank you for joining us tonight. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.